My name is Benedicta Bamkole, and for my dissertation project, I'm doing, my question is, can mobile applications provide effective IT support to dance studios? I'm working with Bliss Dance, and it's it's a dance studio owned by a lady called Amanda. So she owns the place, teaches, and runs the studio. And she hasn't got enough time to improve her skills because she's investing all her time in the admin work. So for my dissertation, doing an application to ease her work and make her job easier. So the overview of the project is investigated and interviewed her to find out, her challenges. Then we both reviewed possible technologies versus what she has now, so that we know where to take it from. And then I did my primary research, which I will talk about further in this, and then analyze my findings, and then talk about the steps I've taken and what I've done in my project itself. How she passes it, basically she uses Facebook, word of mouth, and email to talk to her students. So basically that's how she tells them, the next timetable, what's happening next, what workshop is coming next. And not everyone has Facebook. She's not going to see everyone. For example, I haven't been there in the past 3 months, so I don't know what's happening except I check Facebook. And she doesn't have my email, so she can't email me anything. So we thought of making an iPhone application or an Android application or a web app, SMS gateway, or improve her website. The reason why we cancelled our website was because not a lot of people have time to go to the website and then start searching, but it doesn't really fix the problem we're trying to solve. After I did my primary research, I found out that only a certain percentage of people use iPhones. So we had to cancel the iPhone idea because it just wasn't possible. What's going to happen to the rest of the students that use Android and what have you? So I thought, okay, why not do iPhone and Android? But then looking into the primary research again, not everyone there uses iPhone or Android. Not even everyone there uses a smartphone. So we had to go for something that will suit both the people that use smartphones and people that don't have smartphones. So I decided to go for SMS because that's the only thing that all phones have. So we decided to go for, we started to use an SMS gateway. Basically, her major problem was bookings. So we thought we'll fix the booking problem and make sure she doesn't have to do all the booking stuff herself, because that was what took most of her time. So if you wanted to do advanced tab and wanted to find out how many spaces were in a class, what you basically do was you send a tab to a particular number, and it will check in the MySQL and check how many spaces that were left, and that way we'll be able to know. Then it will send you a reply basically, and yeah, that's what it does. For my project, so far, I've used a Huey dongo. I've taken a Huey dongo, a Raspberry Pi, and a Huey dongo and a Raspberry Pi basically. So what I did was I loaded an image. I used the Wheezy. I loaded an image to my SD card to get it up and running. So then I did my partitioning, I configured it, I updated, upgraded, and just to make sure my SD was up to date and everything I wanted to do was working. So then I decided to use the GAMU library, because if using a library would just make things easier for me, because then everything just comes with this. So what I did was I installed the GAMU library onto my SD card. I could have used another library called Saki 3G, but then it works with PHP, and I was more comfortable using the GAMU because it was compatible with Python. So all I needed to do was install the Python Gamu. So after installing the Python Gamu, obviously with APT, I then that's what I did, and then I installed something else called the SMSD, I think. Yeah, and so the SMSD. So basically, what the SMSD does is that's where all your backend, that's where your messages save. So when you receive messages that are received into the Raspberry Pi, save the message you said. Basically, is where all the stuff is kept. So I installed, so after installing all that, I then tried to configure my the Gamu file, but I had a bit of challenges because when I was trying to find the port, basically what I needed to do is that I need to find the port so that I could use the port to send the message, but then the port wasn't showing up. So I checked my IP address, I checked everything, but it doesn't seem to work. So basically, what was supposed to have happened was that I was supposed to, after getting the port, I would just put it will come up with a number, something like I think TTY USB, whatever the USB was basically, and you put it in your Gamu config file, and then when you run it, you'll be able to send the message. Basically, you'll be able to send a message to the phone. So because in the dongle there's a SIM card, so that's what allows you to do that. And once it finds the port, it will automatically generate the IMEI number for you for the SIM. So then that way it will send to any number you want once you echo it. That's how far I've gone with my project. So that's just the Raspberry Pi, the SMS modem. That's just that bit to the phone. So the next step that I'm supposed to take to finish my my project is to attach the MySQL bit to the Raspberry Pi GSM server, and then configure a couple of things to get the syntax working how I will want it to go. And I've also looked at some literature because I know in India for their railway service, this is the kind of syntax they use. London Underground, this is the same kind of technology they use as well. So I've looked into that and seen what they've done and the steps they've taken. So that as well has affected mine. Another problem I had was, this is why my thing wasn't. I know this is why my port wasn't showing. My Raspberry Pi was reading my the dongle as a CD, as a USB, not a 3G. So I tried to use I think it's USB on USB switch mode switch, but it just hasn't worked for me. Everything that I'm doing about this project is new to me. Apart from, I feel like I've learned the core skills of this project from my my 321 and my web app module. Definitely, if not for those two modules, I wouldn't be able to understand what I'm doing. But I feel like I understand what I've done in my other modules better now because this is applied skills basically. I'm going to try and implement the Saki 3G and see if that works better, because I'm reading reviews online. I've seen that sometimes Gamu doesn't work for certain modems, doesn't work for certain people. So I will try other things and see if it'll work. Or there's another library application called Gonic. So I'm going to try that as well. So what I'm going to, I will implement and go as far as I can to finish the project.